Hey guys, welcome back. Today, wanted to walk through a little bit of the wheel and tire setup. I get a lot of questions on that, and just want to do a general walk around, just so you kind of see how we have been living out of the Jeep and some of the changes we made recently. Want to caveat this by saying that my wheels and tires definitely don't fit right now. The number one thing is there's kind of like this combination between the wheels and the tire setup for sizing and how far inward or outward they're going to be. So your experience might vary. This is my experience. I have a 2018 Grand Cherokee Trailhawk with the Quadralift suspension. So I haven't really made any modifications to the suspension other than the front here. I have a couple of links that actually raise the level of the front. So it basically tricks the ride height sensor, and it keeps it up about an extra inch from what it came out of the factory with. All that is just a different length attachment that connects to the 2 points where the sensor is. So let's jump into it. These are Black Rhino Trabucos with a positive 30 offset. So the factory wheels actually came with about a positive 56 offset. What that really means is kind of like the more negative you go, so towards the negative range, the further out the wheels are going to be. The more positive you go, the further in they're going to be. What that really is where the hub sits relative to the width of the rim. I chose a 30 offset because I was upsizing tires and I didn't really want to hit the upper control arm. So for this 18-inch wheel, which I can't really size it down anymore because I have the HD brakes. I know some people can get the 17-inch wheels, which have a little more variability in the options, but these ones work pretty well. I put a 275/70 tire on, and that measures to be about a 33.4 by 11-inch wide tire. I think I measured it out. It actually, it doesn't actually sit at 33.4 inches when I'm at about 35 psi. It's actually a little bit less than that. So just keep that in mind. There were a couple of things I had to do to get this to fit. I think the biggest one was the pinch weld, which is kind of like a little seam right in here that kind of bonds the two pieces of metal together in the body. So what we did was just cut 4 slits in there and knocked it back with a sledgehammer, primed it, painted it, and then covered it back up with the fender liner. The fender liner itself had to get molded, so we just took a heat gun to that to press it inward. I think some people sometimes can use a self-tapping screw if that's what you want to do. That's just how I decided to do it. The other big thing that I had to do was actually cut out some of the front bumper and fender. So this flare and the plastic bumper are the only pieces that I cut so far. It was pretty easy because they're just plastic. Just getting that line trimmed to the contour of the body was a little bit tough, but it's doable with any basic set of sharp shears, or I think I used some scissors at one point. So the other piece there is that you kind of got a couple things going on in the engine bay. I found that the place where I can't really adjust it is the washer fluid bottle, which kind of sits right here on the driver's side. I'm just not trying to get that involved with it, so that's why I haven't adjusted it, but we'll see if I do that in the future. The other piece is where it actually need to get trimmed a little bit if I really want it to fit, is up here. The actual fender itself kind of pulls and tugs on the little lip. I mean, it's it's just about that much, and you can kind of see if you come in a little bit that there's a little bit of bend in that metal there, and the fender liner obviously has been ripped up. That was because we ran out to southern Utah and we're romping around a little bit fast, so we hit a couple jumps, but that really tells me where it rubs. The last piece in the front here really is just kind of pulling that fender liner up. What I did was a couple of zip ties towards the front bumper. That really gets it to fit for the most part. Now in park mode, it rubs when I turn in full lock. I think it's when I turn passenger side all the way, it rubs just because of that washer fluid bottle. So this driver side wheel is kind of rubbing up against it. Those are really the main spots where it rubs up front. In the back, it actually fits pretty well. There is very slight rubbing up against this spot here, right in the rear wheel well. I haven't done anything about it. It's kind of ripped one of the tabs out, but I knocked back the metal tab a little bit and just replaced the plastic for now. So far it hasn't rubbed away even with all I've done. I mean, it's been probably about 10,000 miles since I put these tires on. Actually a little bit more, because I think my odometer's off now. Since I never adjusted the tire size. I'm not sure if you can even do that for these Jeeps, but the one place that's a little bit tougher to see is inside here. This driver's side has the fuel line lead into the gas tanks. So it does protrude out a little bit on this side that's not present on the other side. So it did rub away the liner a little bit, and at hard compression, at speed, it does rub. I think the only thing that you can kind of do to address that is really relocate it or size it down somehow. But again, I'm not trying to get into that at this point. I think that's kind of like a future project, and this is just where I'm at right now. All right, so this is the passenger side. This side actually fits pretty well. For some reason, I don't hit the fender quite as much up here. I mean, it still tore it out a little bit. The fender itself hasn't been bumped around. It's probably just by the way I drove. This side though does have the air compressor on it, so there is a little bit more wiggle room to push the fender liner back. So I mean, it fits pretty well overall. I mean, the passenger side in general fits better. The back wheel also just has very minimal rubbing, just in the same spot behind the passenger rear door. All right, so that's my quick walk around on the wheels and tires on this Jeep. I know everyone's got a little bit of a different setup, so let us know your experience. If you've got air suspension, if you've got coils, if you did a swap, if you've got the air links, I want to know. We're trying to fit these tires, and you know, every little data point helps. So everyone asked me these questions, and I'm sure any of those comments would help any other people trying to fit something similar. So yeah, until next time.